The recent Rolling Stone story about a gang rape at the University of Virginia has all but fallen apart. But why was it so easy for so many to believe that 9 unnamed male undergraduates were sociopathic monsters? Well, I think I found out the answer. That's coming up next on The Factual Feminist. For several days, many found it plausible that on Friday night in the fall of 2012 in Charlottesville, Virginia,
burn them down!
UVA fraternity members engaged in a nightmarish, ritualized 3-hour gang rape of one of their classmates. And this account in the Rolling Stone included sadistic details. The whole story was reminiscent of horrors of a Bosnian or Congolese rape camp. In retrospect, the story should have aroused immediate suspicion. That it was instead widely credited cries out for explanation. Well, here's mine. Since the 1970s, many academic feminists have claimed that American women live in a state of siege, constantly harassed, humiliated, and battered by men. Rape, they claim, is not only pervasive, but it is supported and sustained by cultural norms. Thus the term rape culture. Well, this grim worldview has little currency outside esoteric feminist circles. Until recently, public perception began to change around 2010, and the term rape culture began to find its way into the mainstream.
I'm really furious at the culture of rape.
And everywhere, we heard that 1/5 of college women will be sexually assaulted.
It is estimated that 1 in 5 women on college campuses has been sexually assaulted during their time there. 1 in 5.
Well, the college rape epidemic meme went viral at the same time that rates of violent crime, including rape, were falling dramatically. And new data from the Bureau of Justice Statistics shows that the rate of rape or sexual assault for college women, these rates are low and have been dramatically decreasing. Well, what happened in 2010 that precipitated this media blitz? Well, that year, the Center for Public Integrity, a left-leaning institution that promotes socially conscious investigative journalism, they teamed up with reporters at NPR to produce a massive 104-page study describing a hidden epidemic of rape on campus. Now, campus sexual assault is a genuine and serious problem, but this report made it seem like the nation's colleges were just overrun with rapists and that the officials were coddling them. According to the report, not only were the vast numbers of young women being raped by their male classmates, but when they reported the crime to campus officials, they were re-victimized by counselors and deans who created a hostile environment for them. Now, the report is the worst kind of advocacy research. It's full of anecdotes and misleading statistics. It's predicated on the claim that 1 in 5 female students can expect to be a victim of rape or attempted rape. I mean, these investigative journalists never thought to investigate what serious researchers and criminologists have exposed as a specious statistic. Now, the report included 33 women's personal stories of campus rape, and they were sad and disturbing. But many of these stories were classic he said, she said cases that are notoriously difficult to resolve, especially months after the event. The report deplores the fact that when women make complaints, they are faced with a litany of barriers. But how can barriers be avoided if someone is accusing another person of a serious crime? Well, when the NPR Public Integrity team confronted the Office of Civil Rights with its findings of a rampant sexual violence epidemic and university complicity, this new person in charge, Ruslan Ali, Assistant Secretary of Education, she promised action.
We will use all of the tools at our disposal, including referring to justice or withholding federal funds to ensure that women are free from sexual violence.
Now, the Center of Public Integrity boasted about the impact it was having in its fundraising materials. And Secretary Ali made good on her word. On April 4th, 2011, she sent out her now famous Dear Colleague letter to colleges across the nation, providing detailed guidelines and new draconian steps that colleges should have to take to fight what she called a plague of sexual harassment and sexual violence. Now, her letter advised schools to determine guilt by the lowest standard, a preponderance of evidence, and it instructed them to take measures to minimize the burdens of complainants, Not a word about the rights of those accused of terrible crimes. Well, colleges rushed to meet the new requirements. Political leaders joined the fray, and there was suddenly a dizzying number of sexual assault task forces, listening sessions, toolkits, commission reports. They quickly materialized. And universities revamped their disciplinary committees and hired trauma counselors and Title IX coordinators to cope with this exploding number of rape survivors and perpetrators. By 2014, the 1 in 5 statistic was everywhere, and campuses were in full panic mode, with calls for censorship and trigger warnings and a growing list of young men facing harsh justice in campus kangaroo courts. Well, a few brave skeptics came forward and questioned the whole thing, but they were quickly denounced as rape apologists. George Will, for example. He was summarily denounced and even disinvited from a campus appearance. By the time the Rolling Stone story appeared, many saw it as horrific, but as a badly needed illustration of a routine occurrence in the college rape culture. Except that it didn't appear to be an illustration of anything factual. It was a male demonizing Gothic fantasy nurtured by several decades of hardline feminist theory. The writers and editors of Rolling Stone are to blame for publishing the story, but it was NPR and the Center for Public Integrity, as well as the Office of Civil Rights, who made it all seem so plausible. Well, what did you think of the Rolling Stone UVA gang rape story? Did you initially believe it? And did you know anything about the rape panic on campuses? If you are on a campus, are similar things going on? And also, I'd like just suggestions on what we can do to prevent these sorts of cases from, false cases from coming up again. We saw it with the Duke lacrosse case and now this. Well, anyway, please leave comments, subscribe to the series, follow me on Twitter or Facebook, and thank you for watching The Factual Feminist.